Good morning. They're already out there on the Sea of Galilee on that boat. Well, speedboats. About to transition to a different area. Y'all see where that is coming up. Hey there. Good pack. That's the extra. Show y'all Mount Hermon. Right there. Don't know if y'all can see it. It has snow on top. Mount Hermon.
Okay, what's your definition of better, brother? Oh, okay.
Who you trying to say snow?
You're putting me down.
Oh my God.
We all do it. No, we think we don't. I thought I didn't. Until honestly, I'm telling you a true story. My wife videoed me, and I still deny it. Even though
It wasn't me.
it wasn't me. It's video shop.
That's my spirit.
Yeah, right. So today, everybody, it looks cloudy and everything, but I was watching the weather forecast. It's actually going to go up again today. It's going to be hotter. Well, it's actually it's going to be hotter down there because Sea of Galilee is 700 feet below sea level. But where we go in Nazareth, Haifa, we're above sea level, so it'll be cooler. It'll be nice. Mid 70s, somewhere there. So yeah, it'll be nice, lovely day. So no, you don't need a jacket. You'll be fine. Anyways, folks, it's Saturday. It's a Shabbat again. Today is the last day of the weekend. So like I said, this evening, when it gets dark, the Jewish law says when it gets dark, and they see at least 3 stars, they break. It's Shabbat. The holiday is over.
Yeah.
But then tomorrow they still have the day off. So it's another extended holiday. Like I said, Thursday evening, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday this time. So it's 4-day weekend this time because the last day of Passover there's a Maimuna. Maimuna is on Sundays. It's the Moroccan Jewish. It's actually started by a group of Moroccan Jews only, but then becomes very popular. Everybody's doing it now. So the whole country gets a day off. It's a Maimuna. Everybody dresses in Moroccan, costumes, outfits. They cook Moroccan food, which is really good, and they decided. So because of the Gesher, the bridge is going to be a 4-day weekend. So tomorrow is going to be a holiday too. Yeah. Let me tell you about Judaism, folks. It's called Sephardic Judaism, because there are two kinds of. I'm sure you heard of this. There are two backgrounds for modern day Jews. There's the Sephardic Jews and the Ashkenazi Jews. So which is which? And what are they? Ashkenazi Jews, folks. Ashkenazi Jews are the Jews from Western Europe, Eastern Europe, North America. You know, blonde hair, blue eyes, green eyes. Those are Ashkenazi Jews. Jews from the Western world, especially Eastern Europe, Poland, Russia, you know, Ukraine. The ones who, Germany, exactly, both Germanys back then. The ones who, you know, the Hasidic Jews, the ones with the, you know, the sideburns and the dress in black, the fair hats. Those are called. See, there's a sea level sign right now. No one should be going up sea level right now. So Hasidic Judaism, even it's not local. It came from Eastern Europe. You know, the language they speak is not even Hebrew. They speak Yiddish. Have you heard of that language, folks? Yiddish. Yiddish is the language of the Hasidic Jews, which is mostly German, influenced by some Hebrew words here and there. Yiddish. It's the language of the Hasidic Jews, and they're originally from Eastern Europe. And Eastern Europe is very cold. You know, their summers are short. Most of the year is cold and freezing cold. So how do you dress up in Europe, in Eastern Europe? Fair coats, fair hats, and you can stay warm. Now, 400 years ago, they moved to Palestine back then. And to be identified as a group of Hasidic believers or Jews, they kept, so they identify each other when they came here, they kept their way of dressing. Even though it does not suit this, you know, this extreme hot weather here, but they kept it because they thought this is how we identify ourselves as a community. Okay, so they still dress up, and you know, these fair hats that you saw, folks, they are very expensive because they have to be purified. They have to be from a certain animal skin, and one of them could go up to $2,000 to $3,000. Just one single hat. Yeah, they're pretty expensive. So they're originally from Eastern Europe, but that doesn't mean the movement moved to the Eastern world, to the Sephardic Jewish world. What is Sephardic? The word Sephardic or Sephardim means Jews from Spain, southern Spain. So what happened in southern Spain 800 years ago? Muslims and Jews left North Africa. And anybody been to southern Spain? You know, Sevilla, Cordoba. So you know the Alhambra. You know all that Islamic culture, Moric culture in southern Spain. Well, that was not only Muslims who moved across the Mediterranean to the other side of the continent, to Europe, southern Spain. They were also Jews. Have you heard of Saladin, folks, the man who defeated the Crusaders? His personal physician, Ben Maymun, was a Sephardic Jew. That was his personal physician. He was a Jew, Ben Maymun. I've been to southern Spain and I've seen a statue of Ben Maymun. They tell you he was Saladin, private physician. So we have Jews who are from Eastern Europe, the Ashkenazi. We have Jews who are from southern Spain, who moved there with the Moorish, with the Muslims of North Africa. We have Jews who lived in Iraq, because 586 BC, 2,500 years ago, Nebuchadnezzar, the Babylonian king, came and destroyed this land, burned the temple of Solomon, and took the Jews to exile back to Babylon. That's why. That explains why there are Jews in Iraq, in Cairo, in Yemen. You know, all over Syria. Those are the Jews with Arabic background, Sephardic Jews, or southern Spain. The darker color ones, like us. You know, darker skin. So we have the Ashkenazi and we have the Sephardic. Even in the Sephardic, the Hasidic movement even moved to some of these countries, because the Judaism, folks, in the last couple of 100 years changed a million times. There's so many rabbinical schools. There's so many schools within these schools and other schools within those schools. So it goes branches, and each one has its interpretation of the Torah, of the Talmud, and the Jewish law, the Mishnah, the Talmud. There's so many explanations, thousands of them. So who do you follow? It's up to you. You choose which school you want to follow. Faris, I believe, took you to Mount Tabor, folks. Look to your left, 9 o'clock. The place of the Transfiguration. You've been there, right? First day, there it is. So that's basically, folks, Judaism. And you've seen them walking around with these prayer shawls. The men only. Men. It's called the Talit, Tallit, a prayer shawl. Did you notice that they have corners and they have tassels?
Yes.
These tassels have nuts. Each one should have 613 nuts for a reason. That is the number of the Jewish laws. It's not only 10, Peter. I have news for you, buddy. That's 613. Half of them are things you are supposed to do, and the other half things you are not supposed to do. That's Judaism, folks. Laws. You follow the laws, and then there are so many interpretations of these laws, and interpretations of the interpretations of these laws. That's what they call the Mishnah, the Talmud, and there's so many schools. Even in the Hasidic world, today, there's so many different schools. Some of them do not even recognize the state of Israel. They are called the Naturi Karta. If you have seen a group of Palestinians demonstrating in Washington DC, or if you have seen a group of Hasidic Jews demonstrating in London, UK, you've probably seen them carrying Palestinian flags, support of Palestine. Those are called the Naturi Karta. They take very, very pride of their Palestinian heritage, and they hate everything about the state of Israel, even though they're Jews. But they believe the Zionist state of Israel does not represent them. What represents them is the true Messiah, who's not born yet, who has not come back yet. Their Messiah, the true Messiah. He should be one of them, and then after the birth of Messiah, he declares the birth of the Jewish state, and then they will follow that state. Not the state of Israel, the Zionist state of Israel. Okay? That's the Naturi Kartas. Again, even the Naturi Karta, there's so many branches now. It takes you, it's like, it's very, very confusing. It's very, very big subject to talk about. But basically, that's what Judaism today. In Christianity, how many schools we have now? How many denominations? That all of them together, just one branch of Hasidic Judaism. Never mind the ultra-Orthodox, Jews and all these different Reform Judaism. That's how big is Judaism now. When we go to the Wailing Wall, I think we're doing that tomorrow. We'll tell you more how they pray at the Wailing Wall. They put the phylactery, the black box on their foreheads and their left arm. Where do you find that in the book of Deuteronomy 6? All that stuff. There's so many details. So if you have questions, we'll answer them tomorrow. Because I did study 3 religions, folks, more thoroughly: Islam, Christianity, and Judaism. Because that was part of the study we had to do in the Tour Guide Academy. Oh yeah.
No, that was fun.
Yes, sir.
When he fought against the Crusaders, right?
1187. Yes, sir. 1187.
Can you describe a little bit about that area?
The area is right there, to your right. The Horns of Hittim, we just passed it. This is where the Battle of Hittim took place. Hittim. Right there around 3 o'clock. The Battle of Hittim, because it sits on top of the lake of the Sea of Galilee. He was trying to keep them away from the lake, the water. And it's a freshwater lake. So 1187, July 1187, folks. He comes to battle, to war against the Crusaders right here at the Horns of Hittim. Hittim. The Crusader soldiers, you've probably seen them in the movies. How would they dress? Heavily dressed. Heavily dressed. A shield, an armor, a sword, cross, the cape, the heavy shoes. It's July, folks. It is 45 Celsius. It's humid. It's hot. What does the Muslim Arab soldier dress like? Can you remember from the movies? A jalabiya. That's it. One thin layer, a sword, and a horse maybe. That's all he had. Now, these Crusaders during that battle, folks, I've read thoroughly the battle, were so much afraid of Saladin that the prince would do this. He would chain them. Each 10 would be in one chain. So then if somebody escapes, they all have to follow. Or if he dies, they will all, because if he didn't do that, they would escape. They were so afraid of Saladin, which backfired on him, because if you you have to do as Saladin soldiers is kill the first one, and you kind of it's a domino action. They all fall down, and then they're like a sitting duck. So he defeated them here, made sure they do not make it down to the water, or the water is a forest. There's a lot of details, but he defeated them. And 1 month later, he marched down to Jerusalem, which was the Crusader kingdom of Jerusalem. You see, the Crusaders, folks, arrived here in 1099. And during the first crusade, there were 8 crusades together. 60,000 people were killed by the Crusaders. Guess what religion were there? Yes.
Protestants.
Yeah. No, not they were not Protestants. They were Eastern Christians, Orthodox Christians.
Oh, okay.
Really? Is that what you are here all about? I thought you came here because you wanted to protect the Holy Tomb. But that's not the reason, folks. If you read the Crusader history, it was actually the idea of the merchants of Genoa, Italy. They went to the Vatican, went to the Pope. The Arab traders, the Arab merchants are taking over our business. It was so bad in Europe. Dark Ages, there's no business, no money. They convinced him to declare holy war and to protect the Christian holy sites. But on the way here, they killed 60,000 Christians. Is that what you were here? No, they were here for political reasons and money reasons. Nah.
No.
But anyways, so from 1099 until 1187, 88 years, folks, there was a kingdom in Jerusalem called the First Crusader Kingdom of Jerusalem, where they converted the Dome of the Rock, the Golden Dome, to a church, and the Al-Aqsa Mosque to a church. So in retaliation, when Saladin defeated them a month later, he marches down to Jerusalem, finishes the First Crusader Kingdom, not all over Palestine, but in Jerusalem only. They were still going in Caesarea, they were still there in Safed, in Caesarea and Akko. There were still hot Crusader places, but he forced them out of Jerusalem in 88 years later, August 1187. So that was the end of the First Crusader Kingdom in Jerusalem, but not the Crusaders all over, in Jaffa, in Akko, and I'll talk about them today when we talk about the French. Napoleon will go to Jaffa today also. So there were 8 crusades altogether. The last one was finished by the Mamluks of Egypt, the white slaves of Egypt. These excellent horsemen who came from Egypt to finish the Crusader period. It was almost the end of the 14th century, into the 13th century when that was the last of the Crusades here. So they were here for almost 300 years. 8 crusades altogether. The first one, the strongest one, King Baldwin the First, Richard the Lionheart. Those are the ones who were destroyed by Saladin.
Where's Saladin from?
Oh, he's a Kurd from Kurdistan.
Oh, I see.
Northern Iraq. He's not an Arab. He's not a Muslim. He's a Muslim, but not an Arab Muslim. He's a Kurd Muslim. Ahmad ad-Din in Damascus, and then he unified the Fatimid state of Egypt with the Umayyad Ayyubid state of Damascus, and he came up with this new strong Islamic state against the Crusaders. Interesting period, folks. I suggest that you pick a book later, and when we go back home and read something about it, because a lot of people don't understand how cruel that period was.
Yeah.
They were here. They killed more Christians than anybody else. These crusades.
Yeah. Even recent years.
Yes.
Last 200 years, I think the 17th, 18th and 19th centuries. There were a lot of Christians were killed by the Christians and other people.
Yes, sir. Now, let me remind you. I don't know if you remember, in 2003, was it the second Gulf War?
Yeah.
George W. Bush was the president.
Yeah.
Remember, after he killed Saddam, what did he say on the news? He said this was a crusade. And what happens the next day in the news in the Arab world? Don't, President Bush, please don't use that word.
Yeah, exactly.
That's a wrong word to use. And he apologized. The cabinet said, no, we take it back. We didn't mean it that way. Just don't use that. Brings very, very harsh memories
Yeah.
for both Muslims and Christians of the Middle East.
Yeah. They don't
He said, yeah, don't use that word. You don't want to use that word in the Middle East. Just that word hurts.
Sometimes the best don't understand the sentiments of.
Oh yeah, you gotta, you address the Middle East, you have to understand how Middle Easterns think. I also remember, that day when that Iraqi news reporter, he threw a shoe at him and he ducked, he was laughing.
Yeah.
Folks, in our culture, that's the most humiliating thing if you're gonna do, you could do to a man. You threw a shoe at him. President Bush didn't get it. He kind of, wow, he's like playing with it. He ducked, he was laughing. In the Arab world, if you throw a shoe at a person, at a man, you might as well shoot him and kill him. It would be better if you killed him than just throwing a shoe at him. That's the most humiliating experience. And I really loved the way President Bush acted. It was like he ducked and he was quick. He made it.
He made it.
Oh man.
It's freezing back here cold.
Yeah.
Can they turn the air?
No, tomatoes in them. Eggs and tomatoes.
is a superpower when it comes to industries.
Israel is a
For example, until the early 1990s, the number one in the industry in Israel was strategic industries. You know, weapons like the F-16I, the Abrams, you know, the Merkava Abrams, the tank, the Hetz missiles. That was number one industry in back in the 60s, 70s, 80s, maybe early 90s. And then things have changed, you know, because Microsoft came to town. All these startup companies. In Israel, folks, we call that the overnight millionaire period, late 1990s. You know, college students with smart ideas, applications, you know, like Waze, WhatsApp, all these. Those are Israeli inventions. If you don't know, Bing. I'm sorry, and they became good, and they made lots and more. So now, that becomes number one. The software industry, high tech, is number one in Israel now. But who is our competition, though?
India?
Yes. Indians are very smart people. We know that. We know it very well in Israel, folks. We know it very well. So if you can't beat them, join them. No. Hold on, folks. Let me tell you what happened. Last summer, 2018, the Prime Minister of India, his name is. He came to Israel, and usually Prime Ministers, Presidents, when you go visit other countries, how many days do they say? 1, 2, 3 maximum. He was here for 2 weeks. Why? Why do you think he was here for 2 weeks? Trying to solve the issue. Let's work together. We can become a superpower together, and that's what they're doing right now. Israeli and Indian high-tech companies are working now. Who is afraid of this? China, USA. Wow, what's going on here? This is not good, because we know it. In the USA, you have a problem with your laptop. You call. Who answers your phone?
A foreigner.
Peter Kumar. An Indian dude. Yeah, I know. They're smart. Gotta admit it, folks. They're smart.
Cheap labor.
Well, no, it's not cheap labor. It's it's smart. Cheap labor can call a Mexican. That does not gonna solve your laptop problem. You can call a Thai worker. No, you gotta call a smart person who can solve your problem.
Even in Canada, any banks, any IT.
Yeah, I know.
Anything to do with IT is Indian.
So, yes, sir. So the same thing happened here, applied here, and they are now working together. Huge, major high-tech companies working together, and that is bad news for the Chinese and other major players. You've been here too, right, folks? Do you remember the name of this village? Kena. The first sign. I'm sure Faris brought you here too. They church the wedding. Did you read the text though? Because if you didn't, I'm gonna slap Faris on his hand so hard. Did he read it for you? John chapter 2. He did? What did the text say? What's the first verse? On the third day. Right? So what's that all about? Third day of what? Third day of what, folks? Of the wedding. What do you mean third day of the wedding? How many days is supposed it's a wedding? 7.
7 days, yeah.
My wedding, folks, lasted 7 days. We eat, dance, drink, eat, dance, drink. Yes, it doesn't none of that order. It doesn't matter. All the last days when you actually have the actual wedding. So in our culture, folks, again, it's biblical. We do send wedding invitations for the day of the wedding, but every day expect people to come and eat at your house. So you better have enough food and enough drink. Wine back then. So that's exactly what happened. People show up because in our culture, folks, you don't need a wedding invitation to go to neighbors' lunch. You go there because when your son gets married, he's gonna come to your house too. It's a blessing, folks. We don't think of it as it's gonna cost me a lot of money. No, it's a blessing.
Yeah, it is.
It's a blessing for 7 days. So on the third day of the wedding week, third day of the creation in Genesis, what happens on the third day of the creation? There was no. Because my point is, folks, sometimes we read the scripture, we don't stop and take our time to understand what is God telling us. There's not a single word, folks, that is just there for because it looks good. No, there's a reason. There's a behind. You know what I mean, right? Anyways, folks, so we went through Cana of Galilee. Those are all Arab villages. Cana, Rene, Mashhad, and then we get to Nazareth, the largest Arab city in Israel today. In Galilee, at least 95,000 people live in Nazareth today. What happened 2,000 years ago, folks, in Nazareth? What did Nathaniel say? He said something very strange. He said, does anything
Can happen.
good
Yeah.
come out of Nazareth?
Yeah.
Why would you say that, though? What was he thinking?
There's nothing significant.
Exactly, nothing. Nazareth, he says, that little unimportant Jewish town up on the hills, they hardly speak Hebrew. Nazareth, he said, yes, Nazareth. Jesus puts Nazareth on the map.
Yeah.
He does, right?
Yeah.
Because life was in the valley, the Jezreel Valley, that I'll show you soon, folks. The culture, the crossroads, the trade, the merchants, everything, history, Armageddon, you know. Yeah, and then all of a sudden, Nazareth, are you kidding me, he says. Well, no, Mr. Nathaniel, we're not kidding you. We're being serious. You should see this, folks, this highway, if this was not a Saturday. Crazy, crazy, crazy traffic. It's unbelievable. But now it's a Saturday. It's a day off. A lot of people work for, Israeli companies, so they have the day off too.
Good for us.
Yeah, I know.
So how far is Nazareth from here?
We're almost there. 5 kilometers. We should be there, in God willing, in what, 10 minutes, maybe? Yeah. I mean, if it continues like this, no traffic, yeah, 10 minutes we should be there.
So Nazareth and Capernaum is close.
To Capernaum, Nazareth, it's walking back then, a couple of days walk. Yeah, it was not easy.
So Jerusalem
easy.
is the one 2 weeks walk.
2 weeks to Jerusalem, if you're in good shape, yes. And like I said, elderly, pilgrims went to the temple 2,000 years ago. It probably took them 3 weeks because, they cannot walk. Because an average person, folks, listen to this, an average person, healthy person, walks up to 20 to 25 kilometers a day. An elderly person, he needs more than that. Okay?
You're in between. That's the problem. I think 8 times we went from the room to the restaurant. Checked whether you guys were there. Came up, went down, came up, brought a coffee up, then took the coffee down. But still it's fascinating. I would I walked.
So Salah is
Yes, sir.
exercise. Nazareth is still part of Israel, right? It's not Palestinian Authority.
No, it's not Palestinian Authority. We'll get to the Palestinian Authority later today when we go to Bethlehem. Yes, Bethlehem is in Palestinian Authority. Jericho is in Palestinian Authority. Yeah, of course. It's safe, folks. The Palestinian Authority are safe, are good. They're good people, really.
Yeah.
Today we're going to go to the shop. Did you know that?
Yes.
Today is a shopping day.
Yeah.
We're going to go to the Christian Palestinian shop for olive wood, nativity scenes, manger scenes, Last Suppers, jewelry, folks, today. It's all happening today, at the end of the day. We finish our itinerary first, done, then we go to the shop. Because our hotel's in Bethlehem anyways, so we're going to be there.
You're a reader of me. Joe, I'm a good man.
Folks, did you all get water today?
Yeah.
I got one.
Uh-huh.
Well, when at any point, get yourself a bottle of water. Keep drinking water, everybody. It's hot up there.
Yes.
It's not that hot now, but it will get hotter later. Alright? Where Jesus grew up as a young child, the Jewish town of Nazareth 2,000 years ago. That's what we're doing in Nazareth, the Church of Annunciation. Both floors, beautiful church. Come back to the bus and off to Haifa, the 3rd largest city in Israel today. The beautiful Haifa, folks. If you haven't seen the gardens in Haifa, you haven't seen gardens yet. The Baha'i gardens. We're gonna go to the Baha'i gardens, and then we're gonna go to Stella Maris, Elijah's cave. Okay, everybody?
Mm-hmm.
That's what we're doing in Haifa, Mount Carmel. We'll do a lot of stories about Elijah. What do you remember about Elijah, folks? Who would like to share something with us about Elijah? His confrontations with what's her name? That wicked queen. What was her name? Jezebel. She was the daughter of King of Phoenicia. Her husband's name was Ahab. God calls him, you are the worst of the kings of Israel. Ahab who said, I don't care. He says, let her do whatever she wants. And she says, well, if the people of Israel want to worship the God of Israel, that's fine. But if let's worship Baal or Baal just to be on the safe side. And what did Ahab say? I don't care. Doesn't matter to me. What do you mean? You're the king of Israel. God calls him, you are the worst.
He's a jelly bear.
Look at this view, folks. This is called Upper Nazareth or Nazareth Elite. Upper Nazareth. This was built in the late 1960s, and down there, everybody, that's the Jezreel Valley, Armageddon, the final battle, Revelation 16, right there, the Jezreel, Yisrael, the Lord will plant valley, the fertile Israel Valley, the breadbasket of Israel, the most important crossroads in the history of mankind. Armageddon, folks. You can call it anything you want. But if you open up the Old Testament, you read stories, the word Megiddo or Armageddon will come up in every biblical story. Okay? That's how important that valley is. Armageddon or Jezreel. Israel. Lord will plant.
So it's the same valley it mentioned, Armageddon?
Same thing, exactly. It's, you see, the way we say it in Hebrew is Har Megiddo. I don't know how Har Megiddo becomes Armageddon, because Armageddon is wrong. You should say Har Megiddo, Mount Megiddo. Har Megiddo. That Arab village goes across the valley on that hill, that is called Nain or Nain. You know, remember what happens in Nain? Jesus was walking a day like this, and he saw a funeral coming out. He asked, who died? He was told, widow's son.
Oh, I see.
Right there, right across. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. 9.
Wow.
So this is Upper Nazareth, or the Israeli Jewish New Nazareth, built in the late 1960s. There are also Arab people living here, but the majority are, Jewish people. This is because the old biblical Nazareth is so small. There is no more land. There is no more room to build in it. So they moved kind of this way. Again, the flags, everybody, because Day of Independence coming up soon.
What is the purple flag?
I'm trying to read it. Honestly, I don't know. I can't read the because it keeps moving. Something. I don't know. Let me read it. Can't even read it. Oh, it says the municipality of Upper Nazareth. That's all it says. Because there's Lower Nazareth, Biblical Nazareth, and this is Upper Nazareth. It says the municipality of Upper Nazareth.
This is McDonald's.
This is, you know McDonald's in Israel, folks. We have two kinds of McDonald's in Israel: kosher and non-kosher.
Wow.
Yeah, if you wanna go to a non-kosher one, you can go on a Saturday. They'll probably be open. If it's a kosher one, they will not be open on Saturday. So, as an owner or a franchisee, you choose which audience you're looking for. If I want the religious people to come to my McDonald's, I will not be serving cheeseburgers. I will not be open Friday evenings. I won't open Saturdays. But if I don't care, I'm looking for the secular audience, well, I'll give you a cheeseburger. I'll open up on Saturday morning. So that's the kind of, usually they have a sign in the front. They should have the sign kosher or non-kosher. So as a person, as a family, you decide what you want to take your kids to, which one. It's up to you. Because you cannot have a cheeseburger in a kosher restaurant. You can't have meat, dairy and meat at the same place, right? That's a Jewish law.
They don't even put it together, right, on the table.
No, can't be in the same room, not on the table.
Oh.
No, at the hotel, they have a dairy restaurant and a meat restaurant. And then a dairy dishwasher and meat dishwasher. They have to be two separate locations. Every hotel, folks, they have a supervising rabbi. His name is Mashgiach. Mashgiach, or the supervising rabbi, that's his job. To go through the dining room, the kitchens, the dishwashers, making sure none of that is mixed. Oy vey, oy vey, oy vey if he sees something from a different department. He has the power to shut down all of your institution until it's thoroughly cleaned by the robbers, and that costs you a lot of money. A lot of money, folks. So you have to be very careful as a shop owner or restaurant or hotel.
Is it for the all hotels, all the restaurants?
All no, it depends if you're kosher, what kind of kosher you have, how far are you gonna go. Hotels in Israel, folks, they even have the Shabbat elevator.
Yep.
Shabbat elevator is the elevator that stops at every floor without pushing buttons.
Why is that?
It takes forever because pushing a button is work.
This is not good.
It should not work. Yeah. So let's say you are on the 9th floor. It probably take you about 7 or 8 minutes to get your floor. It takes a lot because it stops at the floor for a minute or minute and a half, and then beeps and goes on to the next one without pushing buttons. Yeah, it's just part of the, because like I said, folks, remember what I said a few minutes ago, I said Judaism has changed. I mean, today we have elevators, we have other stuff. You cannot just tell people, well, you have to walk up to the 9th floor. Well, they're elderly, they can't. So they had to come up with a compromise. Okay, we'll have an elevator, but you cannot push buttons on it.
No express.
Yeah. So, I mean, you can have coffee, but you cannot have an espresso. You cannot operate the espresso machine, but yes, you can operate the American coffee machine because it's just compromises, Yeah, really, that's what it is, folks.
Capitalism.
Well,
Not capitalism, it's a compromise.
it's a compromise, really. It's just a compromise because you cannot have people ask, well, you cannot have coffee on Saturdays, especially tourists at hotels. Well, they will still have coffee, but they cannot have espresso or cappuccino, but you can have a regular coffee. I remember, folks, when I was in high school, I waited on tables at the King David Hotel in Jerusalem. And Saturdays, we would be Arab and Jewish waiters and waitresses. Jewish waiters and waitresses were allowed to work on Saturday, but they were not allowed to take orders. So they call me every time there's an order. I have to write it down because I'm not Jewish. But when they left tips, they had no problem collecting tips. You know what they say, folks, in Israel? They say, 2 Jews, 3 opinions. 2 Palestinians, no opinion. That is sad. That's a sad fact. Anyways, this is Nazareth, everybody. Here we are in Nazareth. Again, we're going to go all the way to the Church of the Annunciation as a group together. We'll visit, we'll have to take pictures, we need somebody to do the reading for us, folks. Could somebody have that ready? The Annunciation of Mary by the angel Gabriel, Archangel Gabriel. Can somebody do that for us? Thank you. Of course it's Luke. It's in Luke. Absolutely Luke. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. You got it. Luke 2. So have somebody, if you don't mind, somebody would volunteer, do the reading about the Annunciation when we get there. I just love it. I love the fact that we are able to read, wherever we go. It just brings it back to life again. Saturday, folks, is the busiest day of the week in Nazareth because it's an Arab city. Nothing is closed. Well, now they are, but soon they'll be open. And all these Jewish folks that live around Nazareth, they come to shop in Nazareth because it's open. So this makes it the busiest day of the week. But so far, early in the morning, we're good. It took us exactly 30 minutes, so it's not bad, really. Usually it takes almost an hour. 30 minutes is really not bad. So we're almost there, everybody. Please bring your cameras.
And please take it back, guys.
Yeah, take it back.
Yeah.
Yeah, don't
You
leave
hear
it there.
Yes.
Yeah, you take your camera in
And bring
take
it back.
out, yeah.
That's right. There's Bob Marley on the right side.
Wow.
So it's not safe on the bus.
It is safe on the bus. Bus is safe. If you leave things on the bus, it is safe on the bus. That's the point Peter is trying to tell you.
It's not safe in the
restaurants,
in the restroom.
in the restrooms, but on the bus, it is safe.
I thought you said take it with you.
Take it with you, bring it with you. But if you leave things on the bus,
Listen, Sarah. There are people here. Too many people. They will wait. They'll take their camera, leave it at the restaurant.
We're in Nazareth right now.
My I lost $300 on my one.
God will never
Yeah, of course. The Saudis, yeah. But now the Saudis themselves are open up to the Israelis. You know, Benjamin Netanyahu was in Muscat, Oman, a couple of months ago. And that's not a secret visit. Yeah, the Sultan. It was on TV, yeah.
You will have all spiritual thing only Jewish song. We are not, I'm not like that.
Common interest.
Enjoy every bit.
Okay. This way, gentlemen. خير يا شباب. حالكم حلوين.
What are those beads for? Is that just a necklace?
Prayer.
Oh, that's nice, huh? Right? Oh, we're going in here. This is the end of
Well, they give that up. They give something to represent this. Really?
Sorry, man, please.
If I'd have known, I'd have worked pants.
Nice.
Yeah, but somebody should have told me.
That's what I'm telling you. From now on, starting tomorrow.
Oh, not today.
No, today you go off the hook. But starting tomorrow.
Oh.
Here they don't care much. That doesn't tell me that.
Oh.
That one person they.
I thought you meant today. I thought they got paid.
But tomorrow. Okay, everybody, all here? So we came up here, we climbed up the hill. Before we do the explanation, we'll start with the reading. Who's reading for us? Sure.
Hadi malaria. Hadi cough.
The whole chapter.
No, just Annunciation.
In those days, Caesar Augustus issued a decree that a census should be taken of the entire Roman world. This was the first census that took place when Quirinius was governor of Syria, and everyone went to their own town to register. Joseph also went up from the town of Nazareth in Galilee to Judea, to Bethlehem, the town of David, because he belonged to the house and line of David. He went there to register with Mary, who was pledged to be married to him. He was expecting a child. While they were there, the time came for the baby to be born, and she gave birth to her firstborn, a son. She wrapped him in clothes and placed him in a manger, because there was no guest room available for him. There were shepherds living out in the fields nearby, keeping watch over their flocks at night. The angel of the Lord appeared to them, and the glory of the Lord shone around them, and they were terrified.
No, hold on. Terrified. Right? Stop at that word. Let's go to Luke 1. Annunciation.
Mary have undertaken to draw up an account of the things that has fulfilled among us. Many. Just as they were handed down to us by those who were from the first were eyewitnesses and servants of the word. With this in mind, since I myself have carefully investigated everything from the beginning, I too decided to write an orderly account for you, most excellent Theophilus, so that you may know the certainty of the things you have been taught. The birth of John the Baptist foretold.
No, I don't want that.
No, after that,
I think skip till we get to the annunciation. When the angel comes and annunciates me.
The birth of Jesus foretold.
yeah.
The 6th month of Elizabeth's pregnancy, God sent an angel Gabriel to Nazareth, a town in Galilee, to a virgin pledged to be married to a man named Joseph, a descendant of David. The virgin's name was Mary. The angel went to her and said, "Greetings, you who are highly favored. The Lord is with you." Mary was greatly troubled with his words and wondered what kind of greeting this might be. The angel said to her, "Do not be afraid, Mary. You have found favor with God. You will conceive and give birth to a son, and you are to call him Jesus."
Thank you, sir. Now, when you go to churches all over the world, how do they show you angels? What does the angels look like? Wings. Beautiful babies with wings. But the Bible is different. The shepherds were terrified. Mary was, "Do not be afraid." When the angel comes to Abraham, his house, he's scared to death. Especially if I am an angel, I come to Brother Peter, "Hey, listen, your wife is pregnant. It's not from you. Get away." I would like, "Get away from me. I don't want to hear that. That's the last thing I want to hear." It's a frightening experience. Because we don't know what they look like. We don't. It's always a frightening experience in the encounters between humans and angels. So Augustus, he was new. This was given the title. So he says, "What do I do now? I need the support of all of the Roman people. Let's do census. Let's do something. I want people to like me. I'm going to do something nobody done before, because the Bible never records anything, even in the Old Testament. Really? Why do you want to count how many people?" Well, anyways, that was the reason he was doing it. And because they're from the house of David. By the way, the mention of the house of David was never outside the Bible, except 1995, 24 years ago, up until then, Northern Israel dig an archaeological site. They found a piece of pottery about 2 inches big. It says, "Beit David," the house of David. Is it the house of David, Joseph, or another house of David? We don't know. But that's the only mention of the house of David outside the Bible. So because they're from the house of David, they make the journey, Joseph and Mary. What was Joseph doing for a living?
Carpenter.
Right? Are you sure? You're all nodding your heads, but you're not sure.
It said so in the Bible.
What does the Bible say? He was a what?
He was the son of a carpenter. Jesus was the son of a carpenter.
But the word that describes carpenter in the Bible is what? It's a Greek word. It's called tekton. Tekton is not exactly a carpenter. Tekton is a stone-mason. In the Western world, though, when you build a house, you call the carpenter. Let's take a look together. How many houses made of wood here? Folks can see 1, 0, 0, none. All the houses are made of stone. Tekton, the Greek word that describes Joseph's profession is a tekton, a stonemason or a handyman, not a carpenter. He did carpenting because as part of it. Part of it. But his job title was, he applies for jobs back then. I'm a tekton. Hire me. I'm a tekton. Well, I know if I see a tekton, well, he's a stonemason and he's a carpenter maybe too. Maybe he can do some plumbing too, but he's a tekton.
That was his main profession.
Exactly.
I learned a lot
Yes, sir.
today. That's
Yes,
the
sir.
biggest one right there.
So, a tekton, because the capital of Galilee at the time of Jesus was called Sepphoris. Sephoris. Sepphoris was the capital of Galilee, which was built by Herod Antipas, the same Herod who built the city of Tiberias. But the capital was Sepphoris. Sepphoris is a half-day walk from Nazareth. Sepphoris had a theater made of stone dressed up with wood. Who do you think built that? Now that I gave you this introduction, who do you think that built that theater in Sepphoris? Made of stone, dressed up with wood. Joseph. And today when schools, elementary schools, they have a career day. What is a career day? You go to your classroom and you have a son in there and you tell them, I'm a policeman, I'm a fireman. Oh, kids will love it. Sometimes you take your son to your career. Hey son, hold my hand. I'm gonna show you what I do today. I do that with my kids when I go to the archaeological digs.
Right now we do it.
Yeah, I had a couple of my boys dig in archaeological sites. Hey, Yeshua, Joseph, come with me today. Tag along. We're gonna take a walk. I want to show you what your father does for a living, hard work. In the 4 Gospels, folks, Jesus uses an interesting word. It is repeated at least 18 times. That word is hypocrisy. Hypocrites. What's a hypocrite anyway?
Someone who doesn't follow what they say that they do.
Exactly. He changes. He acts. He's acting.
Mm-hmm.
Where do you think you find acting at? Theaters, the capital of Sepphoris, the capital of Galilee. It was Little Rome in Galilee. That's what Sepphoris was. Theater, entertainment, gambling, Roman temples, hypocrites, changing faces. That's where he picked up that word. Don't be like the hypocrites of Galilee. Tekton, I'm going to teach you something today, son. Come with me.
Is that an interpretation in the Bible? Because I didn't. Is that word in the Bible?
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Tekton, in Greek.
Because when you read
King James.
Sam, about King Solomon and all that. I mean, he had people coming from Tyre, and they're carpenters and masons and gold workers and everything else. And so, and a lot of their timber was in, and there's overlaid.
Keep
with
in
gold.
mind, it's a good point. Keep in mind how many years after Jesus died on the cross the Bibles were written, the Gospels. 30 years at least, right? Yeah. So a lot were mistranslated. A lot of words. One of them is tekton. So it was the Bible, the Gospels were written in one language, folks.
That was a long time after Solomon.
What language they were written in?
Hebrew and Greek.
Hebrew and Greek. And then a man comes, his name was Saint Jerome, Hieronymus, 2nd century Hieronymus. He took it on his behalf to translate the Bibles, both Old and New Testaments. When we go to Bethlehem, we'll go to Hieronymus' caves. The man who took 30 years, folks, underground, living in a cave, translating both Bibles. Old Testament from Hebrew to Latin, New Testament from Greek to Latin. A lot of words. I'm guessing, I'm telling you this, in India, in one village, one word means one thing. If you go across there, even in the same neighborhood, no, I mean something else, right?
Also, some letters don't exist from different languages.
So you have to find solutions. What is the nearest word? Well, let's call him a carpenter. But he was a tekton. So what do I do? Tekton, carpenter. That's what happened. A lot of words, folks. I'll go through them with you all, as we go on. Yeah.
I get arguments with a lot of people who hate the Bible, who tell me, well, your Bible's been mistranslated so many times, I can't trust what you say. So it's like, that's one example right there.
And it's interesting to read the French Bible and the English because you get different meanings.
Different all the time. It changes all the time. But anyways, folks, so he grew up here as a young little Jewish boy, presented at the temple, goes to a bit with Rush, like I said, a religious Jewish school, and then I said, you find yourself, they said, today we call it college, university. Back then it's a rabbinical school. You find a good rabbi, you follow that rabbi, you learn everything from him. At the age of 30, he's a rabbi, but he stopped living in Nazareth. He had problems with people in Nazareth. They wanted to throw him off the cliff. Remember? Mm-hmm. After he read from the book of Isaiah. So he leaves Nazareth. His ministry was down in Capernaum. We were there in his ministry all day yesterday. Establishing all different groups he puts together, all that, difficult team. But he had family here, so he would come back, spend some time.
I mean, he only came back once, right?
The Bible records one. I'm guessing more because he still had some. We don't know how often he did it, but I'm sure he did it. Did he have family? Did he have friends? I'm sure he had grown up in this little Jewish town. He probably kicked stones around with kids. He just looked a normal kid. That's what kids do. He had friends and family. We don't know much about him because, again, we don't have a lot of literature.
Right.
It was only written 30 years later. Yeah. And, not all of them have detailed, history. But anyways, so the church that we see today, folks, is a Catholic. This is the largest Catholic church in the Middle East. And when we go to the second floor today, you get to see the largest mosaic of Jesus in the world. It is huge. It was built by an Italian architect, his name is Giovanni, late 1950s. So it's about 60-something years old. It's not very old. But Giovanni, so we're going to go in there, see the reason I'm telling you this now, because I'm not allowed to do an explanation, I have to be very quiet in there. When we go in there, folks, to the left side, you see a very old house. That is the house of Mary, and that's where Jesus grew up. And then on the way out, I'll point at mosaics on the floor. These mosaics have crosses on them. It's the Jerusalem cross. Remember, I spoke about it yesterday because I was getting you ready for this. The Jerusalem cross we saw yesterday was on the gate. Today we're going to see them on the floor. Those are 1,700 years old. Now I know that for sure because one of the Byzantine Christian emperors, his name was Justinian, said, "No more crosses where you walk. Lift them up." So when you see crosses where you walk, it must be before the days of Justinian. What you're going to see in there, folks, is the oldest collection of Jerusalem crosses in the world. Okay, I'm just going to point out because I cannot speak in there, so I just point out and take it.
All right? 1,700 years from
4th century. Byzantine, early Christianity, Byzantine period.
So we can take pictures.
You can take all pictures you want. As well.
Mary's house?
No, it is Mary's house. It's Mary's house.
So
And
wasn't
that-
he 12 when he went in church and first started preaching to
Not
people?
church, synagogue.
They didn't understand. Somebody so young could be saying
Yeah.
this.
Yeah.
So that was kind of, in a way, the beginning
Yeah.
of his
Yes,
ministry.
sir. So the child reading from Book of Isaiah.
Because they say 30.
Yeah.
They say 30, but actually he was doing stuff before that.
Now, so when we do that, folks, after that we go up to the second floor. Okay, did you all get that? Second floor?
Yeah.
On the second floor, there's the largest mosaic of Jesus dressed in blue, I think, and then Peter stand in front of him with the key to the kingdom of heaven, and his mother Mary in the back with the crown on her head. Then we exit and we meet up on top. But it is.
So it has the house inside?
Yes, sir.
You grew up?
Everybody, please listen to the instructions.
Nice.
I think it's a picture of it.
Is there a restroom in there when we get finished
Yeah,
making it?
I'll show you what it is now. Just give me like 10 seconds to wrap this up. It is 10:15 right now. At 10:45, please stay to the timetable, folks, because we have a lot to do today. So we have a busy schedule. 10:45. That's 30 minutes from now. Our meeting point is exactly here where we started. Same here. So you go inside, see the crosses on the floor. Go to the second floor. Restrooms are up there, but you know what? They make you pay. If you If you can wait another half hour, I'll let you use them that juice stand. I know them. They're very, very clean. The rest of them are free.
Okay.
So at 10:45, everybody, please be back here. Gentlemen, just take your hat off when you go inside.
Yeah.
In 30 minutes, this is our meeting point.
Okay.
He's thinking a house, but it's a picture of the house, right? A picture.
No, it's a house.
Oh, it's actual house building.
Yeah, oh yeah.
How did they get
What's all these?
Those are
Plaques.
all mosaics of Mary.
Zobaczyć w szczegółach, co tam jest.
Mosaic. We gotta wait. We're in a line.
The Mary's house is down.
I don't.
Let's go.
cosa proprio nel 1900 viene qui in Nazareth, qui passerà 3 anni della sua vita. Vivissimamente, lavorando da queste suore e pregando, vivendo una regola che non avrà mai un'attuazione perché nessuno lo seguirà, morirà, moriranno, tornerà sempre. L'attuale Parageria, un luogo abbastanza isolato, deserto, uscito per la pellicola, incidente. Ed è significativo che sul percorso di formazione aveva questa veste, questa grande croce, questa capsula che addosso e aveva una grande croce rossa, e poi piano piano questa croce è sparita, ma non perché si della croce, anzi perché comprendeva come non era nato nell'occhio che vedeva l'annuncio ostentato, la funzionale, ma un'opzione che evidentemente deve farci pensare, sono stati meglio che fossero dato il nostro punto di vista della felicità. E in questa quotidianità si vuole il senso di quello che abbiamo fatto. L'offerta a Dio non è tanto per i sacrifici del Tempio, il sangue dei sacrifici, ma è se stessi. Cioè, quello lì non fanno la differenza di discussione con gli Stati, abbiamo fatto totalmente